Welcome to Into the Darkness, where we dive into the most spine-chilling and captivating true crime stories from around the world. Each week, we take you deep into the heart of the darkest mysteries and the most notorious criminals. Our detailed narratives, gripping voiceovers, and vivid visuals will immerse you in the thrilling world of true crime. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to join our community of crime enthusiasts. Get ready to uncover the truth, face the terror, and remember, every story hides a shadow. Now, let's dive into the darkness. Echoes of Betrayal, the Maria Alvarez story. Los Angeles, 1993. The summer heat bore down relentlessly on the sprawling metropolis, casting long shadows in the twilight hours. The city, already simmering with racial and political tensions, was a powder keg waiting to explode. In the heart of this urban jungle, a protest erupted in the infamous Skid Row, an area known for its poverty and despair. Protesters clashed with police, their shouts of defiance intermingling with the wail of sirens and the crackle of police radios. Amidst the chaos, a figure stood out, Maria Alvarez, a passionate political activist and a rising star within the Hope for Change movement. Her voice, once a rallying cry for the disenfranchised, was silenced that night in the most brutal manner imaginable. Maria's body was discovered in a dimly lit alleyway, her blood mingling with the grime and trash that lined the streets. Her eyes, wide with terror, stared up at the night sky, reflecting the dim glow of distant stars. This was not a random act of violence. It was a calculated execution, a chilling message to anyone who dared to challenge the status quo. Her body bore signs of a savage beating, with bruises and cuts covering her face and limbs. The brutality of the crime shocked even the most hardened detectives, and the city trembled as news of her murder spread, igniting a firestorm of outrage and fear. In the days following Maria's death, the city descended further into chaos. Riots broke out in several neighborhoods, storefronts were looted, and buildings set ablaze. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning rubber. Curfews were imposed, but the violence continued unabated. Amidst this turmoil, whispers of a shadowy figure known only as the Spectre began to circulate. It was said that the Spectre, a mysterious enforcer for the Rising Sun Party, had orchestrated Maria's murder and was now targeting other activists. Maria Alvarez was more than just an activist. She was a beacon of hope for many. Born and raised in East Louisiana, she had seen the struggles of her community firsthand. Her mother worked multiple jobs to make ends meet, while her father had been a victim of gang violence. These experiences shaped Maria's fierce determination to fight for justice and equality. She became a prominent figure in the Hope for Change movement, advocating for police reform, affordable housing, and community empowerment. Her speeches, filled with passion and conviction, drew crowds and inspired many to join the cause. Maria Alvarez's rise in the Hope for Change movement was nothing short of meteoric. She quickly became known for her fiery speeches and unwavering commitment to the cause. Her charisma and determination drew people from all walks of life to join the movement, and her ability to connect with the disenfranchised made her a beloved figure in the community. Maria's life was a testament to resilience and courage. Growing up in East Louisiana, she witnessed the harsh realities of poverty and violence. Her mother, a hardworking immigrant, juggled multiple jobs to provide for the family, while her father became a casualty of gang violence when Maria was just a child. These experiences fueled Maria's passion for social justice and her desire to create a better future for her community. Maria's activism took her to the front lines of protests and rallies, where she often found herself at odds with law enforcement and political leaders. Her fearless approach and ability to articulate the struggles of her community made her a target for those who sought to maintain the status quo. Despite the dangers, Maria continued to fight for what she believed in, knowing that her efforts were making a difference. The night of the riot was meant to be a peaceful protest against the draconian policies of the Rising Sun Party, a political faction known for its aggressive stance on law and order. What started as a peaceful march quickly descended into chaos as counter-protesters, armed with bats and chains, descended upon the demonstrators. Maria, at the forefront, tried to mediate and calm the situation, but the violence was swift and unforgiving. Witnesses saw her being pulled away by masked assailants, her cries for help swallowed by the cacophony of violence. The police, already overwhelmed by the scale of the riot, were unable to prevent the tragedy. Their delayed response and lack of coordination only fueled the anger and distrust of the community. In the aftermath, Maria's friends and fellow activists were left to piece together what had happened, knowing that her death was more than just a random act of brutality. Maria's apartment, a modest one-bedroom in a dilapidated building, became a focal point of the investigation. Her personal belongings, meticulously organized, hinted at the life of a dedicated and methodical individual. Her journal, filled with notes on political strategy and personal reflections, provided a window into her thoughts and fears. Among the entries, one stood out, a cryptic warning about a meeting with a high-ranking member of the Rising Sun Party. The meeting, which took place just days before her murder, seemed to hold the key to unraveling the mystery. The news of Maria's murder sent shockwaves through her community and the wider city. Vigils were held, candles flickering in the warm summer nights as friends, family, and supporters gathered to mourn and remember. Among them was David Ramirez, a seasoned activist and Maria's mentor. David had known Maria since she was a teenager, guiding her through the tumultuous world of activism. Their bond was strong, built on mutual respect and a shared vision of a better future. David was devastated by Maria's death, but his sorrow quickly turned to a burning resolve to seek justice. He delved into the underbelly of the city, talking to informants, piecing together clues, and uncovering a sinister plot. It became clear that Maria's murder was orchestrated by elements within the Rising Sun Party, who saw her as a threat to their power. David's investigation revealed that the party had infiltrated their movement, sowing discord and fear to weaken their resolve. David's journey was fraught with danger. He received anonymous threats, was followed by shadowy figures, and faced constant surveillance. Yet, he pressed on, driven by the memory of Maria's unwavering dedication and the promise he made to bring her killers to justice. Alongside him were other key figures from the movement, each with their own stories of struggle and resistance, united by a common cause. One such figure was Elena Garcia, Maria's best friend and fellow activist. Elena, a single mother of two, had been with Maria on the night of the riot. She had witnessed the brutality firsthand and was determined to see justice served. Elena's personal story added depth to the narrative, highlighting the sacrifices made by those on the front lines of the fight for equality. Her children, now without their beloved Aunt Maria, were a constant reminder of the human cost of the struggle. David's investigation led him to a chilling revelation. Maria's murder was not just a political assassination, but part of a larger conspiracy involving corrupt officials and law enforcement. The deeper he dug, the more intricate and dangerous the web became. He discovered that the Rising Sun Party had been working with a rogue faction within the LAPD, using their influence to silence dissent and maintain control over the city. In a dramatic climax, David and a select group of trusted allies set a trap for the traitors. They arranged a meeting in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city, a place where the shadows seemed to whisper of past crimes. The atmosphere was thick with tension as they confronted the informants, the air heavy with the smell of oil and rust. A violent struggle ensued, gunshots echoing through the empty corridors, and in the end, the traitors were apprehended, their confessions revealing the full extent of the conspiracy. As David and his allies pieced together the final clues, they uncovered a startling truth. The specter, the shadowy enforcer believed to be behind Maria's murder, was none other than Carlos Mendoza, a high-ranking member of the Hope for Change movement. Carlos, driven by a desire for power and control, had been playing both sides, feeding information to the Rising Sun Party while positioning himself as a leader within the movement. The revelation of Carlos's betrayal sent shockwaves through the community. Trust was shattered, and the movement was thrown into disarray. But from the chaos emerged a renewed sense of purpose. The corrupt officials were arrested, and the shadowy figures behind the Rising Sun Party's machinations were exposed. The fight was far from over, but the community, galvanized by Maria's sacrifice, continued their struggle, knowing that the path to true justice was long and fraught with challenges. As the story concluded, the oppressive heat of the Los Angeles summer gave way to a cooler evening breeze. The city, still reeling from the violence, found a moment of respite. The stars above shone a little brighter, a reminder that even in the darkest times there is light to guide the way. The tale of Maria Alvarez, a warrior for justice whose life was cut tragically short, became a rallying cry for all who dared to dream of a better world. Her legacy lived on, inspiring countless others to take up the mantle and continue the fight for change.